kind of the cool part, is when you buff these things out, you'll see the colors. Alright guys, so I can talk to the camera and you can see my reflection in the paint. That's what we want. Oh my god, so much better. Brakes, brakes, brakes! Alright guys, good afternoon. I hope you guys are having a good day, a little bit better day than I am. I'm busy as heck working on this. So this is my new 1967 Ford F250, and I'm going to show you guys how we're going to transform this paint from what you see now into a whole different truck for no money at all. So check this out. This thing I picked up just recently. Probably wondering, well, Craig, you have plenty of projects. Why the hell are you buying another car or another truck at that? This thing is super cool. So it's a 67 F250, 1 year only truck. You can see the grill in the front end of this thing is completely perfect. Absolutely perfectly straight from front to back. So you can see this thing has a perfect grille, perfect bumper. It's pretty much straight all the way down, has the original West Coast mirrors on it, and it doesn't have a crazy amount of rust underneath it at all. There's a little bit on the roof, which is pretty typical for these trucks, but the side looks pretty much perfect. A little bit on the front, nothing too crazy. West Coast mirrors, and it's pretty damn straight. There's a couple little spots here, but this thing did have a camper on it. So benefit of this truck is it has a pristine bed. When I say pristine, it's like, oh my gosh, look at this thing. It is quite literally perfect. The entire top of this bed, look at the light, how it refracts. Also, you can see the paint job right here. This is what we're gonna get after, because if you can see, this is kind of what we're going for. And you guys can't really see it. There you go, you can kind of see it. It's got a lot of metallic in it. So what we're gonna be doing in this video is actually transforming the paint. And a lot of you guys probably have familiar with trucks and cars. It doesn't have to be an F100 or an F250. It could be a Mustang, it could be a Cougar, it could be a Camaro, it could be a Charger, it doesn't matter. Any sort of old car that has paint like this time and time again. I just did it on my crew cab, which is a vehicle that's not worth doing it on. So if I can make a vehicle come back to life, so can you. So I'm gonna show you how. So this thing, underneath, I'll show you inside it real quick. This is a 352 4-speed manual. Pretty cool truck. It's actually in really good shape too. So my buddy Carlos that I got this thing from, he robbed a bunch of the parts out of it for his 67. So you can see he took the 1 year only door cards, the gauges, a couple other pieces, the original radio, some other pieces like that. But for that, it does run fantastic. I think it's still in neutral. Yeah. So you can see, this thing runs perfect. So we just spent a bunch of time getting it all dialed in. So the brakes currently do not work. The reason this truck was parked is it had a brake line rod out in the front left side. So that'll be changed tonight as well. But one thing to get it operable, we have to throw a battery carburetor on it and a new fuel pump in it down below. So I'm gonna go get this thing out and get her for 4 shots, and then we're gonna pull it in the shop and get some detailing. So it should be fun. But you can see our shop area is kind of cleaned out. Cleaned out shop for sure. Check this out. There's nothing in here anymore. So, kind of wild. But yeah, let's get this thing in here. You can see the colors come out like crazy when it's wet. It's So it's really the biggest thing with these trucks is just give it a nice, good, clean base. And then what we're gonna do is actually essentially be putting oils back into the paint. So you're gonna imagine that the surface of the paint job on this truck is like the ocean floor. And the rougher and more mountains and more stuff on the ocean floor, the rougher the paint job is gonna be. So those paint jobs that you see that are mirror finishes, they refract light really well because they're flat. So the flatter we can get this paint, the better that it's gonna shine. So no matter how garbage necessarily that your paint, nice, how garbage the paint job actually seems, as long as you can get it to be flat, no matter how rusty or anything it is, it will shine. It doesn't matter how much or how little paint is there. You can take straight up garbage rust and make it shine. So that is what I'm gonna show you how to do. The paint. So this thing's rusty, it's got holes, it's got plenty of problems. That's okay. We're not going for perfection here. That's the last thing that we want. If it was a perfect truck, we wouldn't be doing this. So it's one of those things I want you guys to remember is if it was perfect, you wouldn't be doing the work. So it's never gonna be perfect, and you gotta accept that. But anyone can make it better. Any little bit of effort will make it better, so that's what we're gonna do. It may look like I'm going really, really fast, and it is because I am. It's because it's 5 o'clock on a Friday, and the bug needs to go to Hammers in like 3 days, and it's not even close to that. So I'm taking this on in between the two, so yeah. So if you're going to enjoy today's video, drop a like on it. It would really mean a lot to me. I'm putting a ton of work into these videos for you guys, even though they're not coming out every day or every 3 days. You know, I'm putting in the work. We're here till, you know, I get here between 8 and 9 a.m. and, you know, I walk out of here anywhere from 11 p.m. to 3 a.m. So I've definitely been putting in the work on these things for the last couple weeks, last couple of months to get these videos done and out for you guys. So any sort of support on the merchandise on 909speedcompany.com would really be appreciated. And just drop a like and comment, let me know what you think. So let's get into it. So I'm gonna get the other side of this thing clean and we're gonna get it in the shop, hosed off, and get it prepped. So yeah. Certain paints are different. My crew cab and the bullnose especially was way different. They were very chalky. You can see how this one has a nice shine to it. If your truck has, or your car has, like any sort of satin or semi-gloss shine to it already, it's gonna be like a one-step. You'll be done in like 30 minutes. So it doesn't take much time. You could literally eat dinner before you go to bed, you'd have this thing done. So that's kind of how I'm seeing like this truck's gonna be. There'll be a couple trouble spots, but for the most part, this thing's gonna eat the polish right up, I can tell already. So this paint's in fairly good condition, believe it or not. The hood sucks. The rest of it, very nice. I can just tell the way that's, you know, taking up what we're doing to it, what we're cleaning right now. It's definitely gonna be a little bit better, but I'm gonna go to get this thing. You missed the spot. Yeah. I don't want to rinse the metal off. Oh, okay. But yeah, so. Look at that color already. Just with water. So that's one of the things if you're like, damn, my truck looks really good when it's wet. Well, you can make it permanently wet. You don't have to put oils and sauces and linseed oils and vegetable oil and motor oil on your paint. Just put a little bit of work in it. It's a little bit easier sometimes than just taking it on a rag and slapping oil all over your truck. And then you go down a dirt road and it looks like crap. We're gonna make it actually look good. The badges will hold the most amount of dirt. Oh my goodness, that's good. Okay, so the one thing I noticed is this had a camper on it. We like my buddy just took this off I think a week ago, and you can see where it says camper special. It had the big S right there. And now you can actually see it after I rinsed it off and cleaned it. It was a camper special, which makes sense. It's also a custom cab, and I believe, I could be wrong, but I think the custom cab is the 67 only, this badge. I think so. Christian, this custom cab badge is the 67 only one, right?
The 67 only is a different color than all the others.
That's what I thought.
It's black, the later ones are red, I think, or it's vice versa.
Yeah. So, pretty cool, yeah. But and this is a dual tank truck too, if you guys probably noticed.
Actually, this is red, so that means the red is a 1 year only, and the later years are black only.
Got it.
So this is a 1 year only truck, and if you guys don't know, this has a special emblem that's supposed to go here. Yeah. You can still see what's left of it.
Yep, I was just pointing that out. I was like, you can see the big S.
Yeah.
Because normally they're small little rectangle and it says camper special.
It's super cool, they're super rare. They do not reproduce those.
Of course they're not there.
I know!
But yeah, you can see how much better the truck looks just from hosing it off.
Yeah,
so.
and then these are 1 year only too, but they do reproduce these now.
Oh really?
They reproduce these in F100 and only F250, so those two only.
Yeah, these are cool. They're a lot smaller. So, and then if you guys didn't know, I guess I'll show you while we're here. 67 only, 1 year only door. So it's a 1 year only door, so it's got, there's not a pull. You're probably used to having a pull if you have a bump side. They have a pull lever right there. Under the hood, on the corner of the hood, there's two hood supports. Those are 67 only. The gauges, I don't think the gauges are any different. I could be wrong.
Yeah, what gauges?
But over here on the where the heater controls are, they're knobs. Isn't a whole bezel over there. So that's a 1 year only as well. So, and I think the mirror also. The mirror you can see is much smaller. It bolts to the actual roof. It's not a glue-on one. So I believe that guy is 1 year only as well. There's a bunch of things for 67 for whatever year. I'm sure you guys can comment and you'll probably know exactly why, but for whatever reason in the bump side generations, they used a bunch of things that were 1 year to that truck, and then in 68 they scrapped it all and completely changed a bunch of stuff like the door handles and whatever.
The data tag too is completely different from the later years as well.
And I believe, if I remember right, it's lock, unlock.
Yeah,
really weird.
You're 100% right.
So that's lock, and then you lock the door. There's no pull guy right here.
Whoa.
That's not there. So it's 67 only door. It would have had, if you look at my F100, it has, or a lot of the other ones, this part of the door is actually thicker, and it has the provision to put a lock pin right there.
And do that one more time.
So that guy, that's unlock and that's lock. So kind of interesting how they did that, but there's no lock pin anywhere. You can't just pop the door up.
I didn't realize that there were so many different variations, and they changed so much to the 68 from the 67.
Yeah, and the one thing, I know at least from my truck, you physically can't lock your keys in your car, because if you push the lock pin down and shut the door, it pops the pin up. These I don't know, and I'm not going to test it. But yeah, you can see it's way cleaner already. So the sun's going down. We just finished right before sunset, so I'm going to pull this thing in the bay. Probably, I don't know if I'll clay bar it, but just do some sort of decon on it. I did pretty much when I sprayed it. But you can see the bed holds water. Look how nice the bed is. Not a dent. This whole thing had a camper in its entire life. So you can see the difference when it dries. Wild. So there was this tiny little spot. I'll go ahead, I'll get a light so I can show you guys a little better. We went ahead and Carlos did a little test spot just by hand. And you can actually see the metallic in the paint right there up top. I mean, it's pretty wild. So you would think it's very flat and chalky. You can see just me rubbing my hand in it, the metallic comes out. So this thing's gonna look really, really wild when it's done. So yeah, we're gonna go get down and see what happens. All right, you guys. So this thing is very far from perfect, but you can see it's at least clean. So the biggest thing we got to start with, like in these trucks, is getting them clean. Anyone can wash their truck, and the one thing a lot of guys you probably heard is doing a clay bar. So in the last video with the crew cabin, it was called a comet wash, which is the most aggressive form of cleaning a patina truck. I really don't think we need that. If we were going to do that anywhere, it would be on the hood. And I'm going to try to avoid that just for time. So naturally, if you see a lot of really pitted, corroded spots on your truck that is etched through the paint, there's no paint left at all, and it's just straight up rust and it's porous and you can feel it, it's like grit on your hand. That would be something I would recommend taking, a green or a red, probably a green, less aggressive Scotch-Brite pad and some Comet bleach, take some water, go over it, and then you should be good from there. But I'm going to try to avoid that, like I said. If anywhere on the truck needs it, it'll be the hood, and I'll deal with it later. But I probably will do it on the bumper as well, because you can see a lot of patina spots on the bumper. That'll all come out and they'll bring the whites back in the bumper. It'll actually make it a lot brighter. So I'm gonna try to avoid that for right now, but I'm gonna get the rest of the truck done to start off. So we're gonna try to do this in a one, maybe a two-step. Just do a heavy cut and then a polish on top. So a lot of it, you can actually kind of see it does refract light pretty well on the roof as well as the side of the truck. So there's a couple spots that are very rough, but I'm gonna do a few test spots just to see what happens. So I have over on the table a bunch of different pads and a couple different compounds we're gonna go over, and I'm gonna show you guys pretty much how easy it is, from basically taking a $5 to $10 pad or even a $20 pad if you want to feel really bougie, and you get a little $20 bottle of compound and you're ready to go. So let's get into it. I'll show you guys how to do it. All right guys, so this stuff's super basic. So you can see right here, this is a heavy cut pad. This is all from 3D. You can see right here we have a 3D cut and compound finishing polish. This is 25 bucks. This is cheap. There's a bigger bottle if you wanted to go bigger, that's about 45 bucks. Then I have a ceramic detailer, that'll be last, but any sort of just regular spray detailer would be good to go ahead and get the compound off. And I have a bunch of different pads. So there's two different styles of wool pads here. There's more of a polishing one, more of a heavy cut one. These are used, all of these pads besides this one are used off of the truck, just so I don't have to waste a brand new pad. This is a Harbor Freight polishing pad. This is like a it's like a sub $10 pad, it's cheap. And there's a couple other ones here that we might try. These I think some of these are Rufus. I don't know, but those don't even fit my buffer. But anyway, so I'm gonna try first is I'm gonna try just a couple dots of the compound on our heavy foam cutting pad. I'm gonna do a couple spots on the truck, see how that works. And I'll go over and grab it, and if I can even find it right now. But there is an 8-inch wool grinder that we can also use. So if this doesn't work, we'll have to go more aggressive. Big 8-inch grinder. This is random DA orbital. So you can see this guy moves. in a random orbit pattern. So this thing spins and it oscillates all around like that. So that sometimes helps a lot with preventing swirls. The grinder is, you know, up to 3, 4, 5,000 RPM. You can create swirls in your paint pretty easily with that thing. That thing's gnarly. I recommend not using that if you've not done this before. This will save your wrist. You can literally snap your wrist with that tool. I'll grab it just to show you what I'm talking about. This is a big dog I've been talking about. So this thing is massive. You put a wool pad on this thing will go upwards of, yeah, 3,500 RPM. And when it has a shaft that's the diameter of, it's decent, and then you got an 8-inch pad on it, spinning at 3,500 RPMs, and this thing probably weighs about 10 pounds. That catches, it will really hurt you, so be careful with these. This is something to be very, very taken seriously, and I would recommend if you can get away with using one of these, I would do that. This is Harbor Freight. You can get these at Harbor Freight as well. These are usually for a lot more of a heavy job. So I'm gonna try not to use this. I'm gonna try to start off with this, and if I can do the whole truck with this, that's great. I might have to go to this on the hood though, like I was saying. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one, and all we're gonna do really here is take our compound, and I'm sure there's a bunch of professional detailers that'll tell me I'm doing it wrong, and that's fine, because we're not pros. Just do like 5 or 6 dots. You can do swirls, you can do whatever you want. Eventually you'll realize the pad will get too saturated, and that's where you can go ahead and take some air and some water, rinse it off in a sink, and then blow it all out, and you'll clean it and then go back to where you started. So I'm gonna do a back spot on the bench, see how this works. So I'm going to try to show this the best of my ability so you can see a little bit of hand polish done by my buddy Carlos. You did a great job right there. And then I'm going to go ahead and kind of go down the bed a little bit and wrap this corner. So we'll see our before and after pretty quick here. So we're just going to dab this stuff on, just kind of spread the material out. Like I said, I'm not clay barring this or doing anything crazy. This is literally almost as one step as it gets. And I'm just going to do a test pass. If it needs a clay and all that stuff, I'll go get that later. But we're just going to try it out. So we're going to start out slow. You went a little heavy on the material, so I'll drag it down a little bit. And I'll speed it up. About 3,500. Okay, I'll go get a clean rag. And we're gonna take this. I wouldn't recommend using a microfiber, it's just what I have in my hand. I would use an actual polishing rag so you don't scratch it. You wouldn't want to scratch the nice paint you just did. And then we're gonna get all of that compound off. And what that'll leave us with is a really nice, pretty finish, assuming you have one. So you can see that is one step. This is the whole point of this video, is to show a one-step polish. I'm not going super crazy here. I'm not going all crazy with a bunch of different money and compounds. Special tools, that's the biggest thing I'm trying to show you guys. This is the point of this video, because I can do this many different times, and I can do this with a bunch of different compounds, a bunch of different polishes, a bunch of different techniques, and a bunch of really expensive tools that you probably don't want to spend money on. And I wouldn't either, especially if you have a truck that looks like this. You're trying to do this on the cheap. That's the whole point. This is less than 100 bucks. You can borrow some of these buffers from your friend if you don't want to buy one. And if you want to, at Harbor Freight, I think these are like sub 70 bucks. They're pretty cheap for these buffers. You'll be under 100 bucks for everything if you plan it out right, if you wanted to buy everything. So this is essentially a $100 paint correction is what this is. And that's the kind of guy that I'm talking to, someone that wants to just buff their truck out, make it look a little better, make it bead water, make it look good for the next couple months or years at that point if you take care of it. And that's the thing, is this does last more than a couple months. This linseed oil and all those oils and coatings that you put on, they wash off. They don't last through the seasons. You buff the truck out, it'll last for a good amount of time, especially if you ceramic coat it after or even clear it. And as you can see, the results speak for itself. I mean, look at the difference between the shine. I'll take it off so you guys can see what I'm talking about. I mean, that is a one-step polish. Go across and boom. You can see I'm a little hazy. On the back I'm pretty clear because it's been done technically twice now. But this is with one pad. This is with one style pad. I have plenty of different pads to go through. And I think if I hit this with a wool pad, it'll actually, you know, pretty much bring it back again. So I'm gonna do this another time and see what the wool pad does. All right, let's do the same spot with a wool pad, see what happens. I think this one's gonna pretty much finish it off. So we will see. One thing also is you'll notice the wool pad will absorb the compound way more than the foam ones will. They'll throw it a little more, and that's just the nature of wool. So you'll have to use a little bit more compound with a wool pad, but they do better. Big difference. So on these older trucks, I will stand by the fact that I think these wool pads are 1000% the way to go. there's your two-step. If you wanted to polish this, you could, but that's when you're really comparing apples to apples at that point. You really don't need to polish this. This will bead water, this will look great in your driveway, and it will do exactly what you need it to do. So now you can see, I can talk to the camera and you can see my reflection in the paint. That's what we want. And there's no harsh light on this. If I go get a light, it'll look even better. You can see Chaz's truck perfectly in the reflection versus before you could not at all. And this has a gnarly metallic, and I wish you guys could see it in person. That was the whole reason I wanted to do this, because I knew, I mean, look at that. Look at that, this thing just, like, it glides up and down this thing. For a rusty truck, towels don't normally glide, they stick. So yeah, very happy with that. It looks really good. And spots like this we can do by hand. So what I'll do is I'll put the compound on a rag, I'll stick it in here, and I'll do this all by hand with a polishing rag, which you can get for pretty cheap at different places on, you know, from places like Amazon to anything else. But I'm gonna work my way down the bedside, go ahead and throw you guys up on a time lapse, and I'll come back when this bedside is done. And then we'll work our way forward on the truck. So this is progressively gonna get more difficult as we come forward, because you can see there's more rust, more patina in the paint as you come forward on this thing. So it's gonna go from easy to hard. So I started on the bed on purpose, because I knew it was gonna be easy, but just look at the difference. Buffing these old trucks is one of my favorite things to do, because it just, you don't have to paint these things, believe it or not. For $100 you can essentially repaint your truck and refinish it. All right guys, so we did the top of the bed and you can see the difference. It is substantial. So I could go a lot further than this. I mean, you can clearly see the reflection of all the stuff in the background and me in it, but you can actually go much further than this. That's the cool thing about paint jobs like this. But I mean, come on, this is more than sufficient for what we're trying to do here. I mean, the flake in this paint is just wild. So we can take this a whole step further, but that's not the point of this video. The point of this video is a lot of guys, you can just stop right here, be super content with it, save the money, and your truck looks night and day better. So as we go down this thing, you'll see it's a little hazy, and that's mostly just because it's material that I haven't gotten wiped off yet. I need to wipe it off. You can see my finger mark right there. Now once that comes off, it'll be consistent. So, but the wool pad is definitely king on this stuff, which is why the grinder sometimes is your best bet, but it's really gnarly in areas like this. So you can see here's a good before and after. And there's a nice chalky paint. Coming over here, we got the nice pretty metallic. And that's why I saw this truck before I bought it. It was one of those things where I was like, you know what? I literally saw that corner of that bed and I was like, yep, I'm gonna buy it just for that reason, because I know what it's gonna look like after. So, and the results speak for themselves. Look at how straight this bed is. You can really see the light on it. I mean, there is no dents anywhere on this thing. Really, really straight. All the corners are flawless. It's like there's never been a tie down mounted to this thing anywhere, which is just crazy to me. I've never seen a bed in this good of shape. But yeah, so I'm gonna work my way up the cab, then we're gonna do the white last. So I'm gonna do the entire red portion of the truck first to get the pad out of the way. Otherwise I can't use a red pad on white or it'll show up. And then I will go to the bottom and then do the roof last. So we will work our way to the front of the truck, but you can see already that bed has one hell of a shine to it. So looks pretty damn good. Truck and pretty much got the door and back section done, and you can just see the difference. I mean, you can literally see where I stopped. This came out absolutely fantastic, and I don't even have a harsh light on it, you know, but you can really, you know, the camera has a hard time focusing on it, but you can see the finish on this paint is fantastic. It has a really nice metallic. It's like this candy red color. Came out super awesome. I'm super hyped, and this is one step, so I'm gonna keep reminding you guys. I can go way further. So you can see there's a little bit of light and haziness around here in these edges, and I can get in there and I can color sand and I can get in there and buff them out again, you know, and really keep going for that perfectionist. But that's not really what we're doing here. We're trying to just do the one step, the nice finish from the good, you know, 5 foot, 10 foot distance. Looks beautiful. Driving down the road looks beautiful. We're not really trying to get up close. I mean, when you got a truck that has holes like this, I wouldn't really care if it had a little bit of haziness around the door handle, but that's just me. You can gauge on your own truck how crazy you want to get with it. You want to get in and get some 1000 grit in there, you can go ahead and do that. I went ahead and I 1000 grit sanded the door and did another pass and it came out fantastic. You can see it's definitely thin here, so this is kind of the cool part is when you buff these things out, you'll see the colors will start to come out in the paint, so you can see the lights coming underneath. That's one of my favorite parts about these patina trucks is how they kind of fade together. So I'm gonna work towards the hood. So the next thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna try to not comet wash this. I'm gonna try to sand it. So I'm gonna do 1000 grit, work my way up and really get this grit to go away. So you can see I already did this. So this is nice and smooth now. And I buffed this already. This one's smooth, you can't hear anything. So that's what we're trying to do is get that sound to go away, get that roughness and texture out. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand the whole hood, work my way around to the front and front fender. I'm gonna pop all these trim pieces off because they're all bent and I keep catching my pad on it, and wrap around the front of the truck. So I got this side of the truck pretty much done. You can see it, how it kind of fades from the front. We're definitely running out of paint as it comes to the front of this thing, and you can see this like original paint that's underneath. Definitely more predominant on the front of the hood, for sure. But a lot smoother versus the other side. You can see our before and after. Much different. Even though it still sucks, it sucks a little bit less. A little bit shinier. You can definitely see the difference there, so looks pretty good. And I'm gonna go ahead and work my way to the other side of the hood. So I went in and I sanded this with 1000 grit, got all this knocked down, so it's a lot smoother now, versus this side is still super rough. So you can see the texture there versus over here. So at the very least, I would recommend at least sanding it down a little bit. You're not really gonna buff this out very well. This one you could probably put some sort of oils and shines on to get the colors and the browns to pop, but everything else, this is plenty fine for me. You can see how much shine this thing has. So I'm gonna go ahead and sand this other side, get the other side of the hood, and start wrapping around to the other side of the truck. Marcel and the guys are working on the brakes on this thing, kind of touching up, just making sure it's safe to drive. But you can see this is our before, so definitely more chalky, more bland, more flat. And as we walk to the side of the truck, which is the one I've already done, it is way better. Way better. So I'm super pumped with the way this thing's coming out, and we're gonna knock out the other side and get the white done. Do a quick one pass on the white. The white does not need a lot of work. You can see how much it shines already, and overall it's coming out super nice. So yeah. Okay, so you can see on the whites, the red's pretty much done. Moving to the white, this is gonna be a super easy one pass. You can see really the only thing that changes is it gets rid of the chalkiness on this thing. So that's really the only thing that's gonna change right here. You can see the difference, barely. It doesn't really show up very well on camera, but we're just kind of getting rid of the chalkiness and adding a gloss really. So I did this back section right here, but the white White's a very forgiving color, so you're not gonna see too much. So I'm gonna go ahead and knock the rest of this thing out, and we'll be pretty much done with this thing. Alrighty, putting up the finishing touches on this thing. Check it out. Oh yeah. Damn. We gotta put in the meme though. Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. Damn, dude, look at this. Oh, nice shirt. Oh yeah, by the way, those things are back in stock if you want to go grab one on the website. I'll put a link down below. Yeah, you got, damn, you guys multiply? What the hell? There's two of you in here.
Didn't plan on it.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
These are nice.
Stock.
OEs.
OEs.
Those things are beautiful, man.
No, you got them for a good deal.
Look at that truck. That thing looks fantastic. Not a bad foot. Dude, this thing is in 24 hours. Less than that. 24 hours has gone through a complete makeover. Look at the roof. Everything on this truck looks absolutely fantastic. This is just a one pass. That's the thing I want to keep reminding you guys is this is just one step. You can take this so much further because you look in the paint on this thing, you can actually see me pretty well, but you can't read like Chaz's wet detail sign behind us. You kind of can, but this is just a cut. You can go into a polish and then you can go to a ceramic and you can do a full paint correction. You can color stain some of these hazy spots. But at the end of the day, we're really not trying to go that far with this. This is something that you can do in a day, in an afternoon. You can go grab about $100 of material and just get after it. And this is the only chemical that I've used is this 3D bottle right here, which you can use McGuire's 100 or 105 or whatever they sell now, the equivalent of that. You don't have to spend a crazy amount of money. You don't have to have crazy compounds. The one thing I will say, however, this thing is fantastic. This helps you clean your pad, and then it actually pumps water up in there. It's like a pad cleaner. And then you can spin it in, and that's what I've been cleaning it with. And then there's some compressed air. Oh, I do need to buff the hood. Yeah, let's go and close it. Yeah, let's shut it. So the other thing I noticed is the hood doesn't really want to come back that well. So you can see it's got this like reddish orange color, and then we do have to put some sort of oil base on just these little patina, heavy patina spots. But overall, this thing looks fantastic. You can see this like kind of pinkish red, violet red. I don't know what it is with these old trucks and me getting them in the same color. My crew cab has this color. My slick side had this color. They all seem to have this color. But this truck looks phenomenal. I mean, oh my gosh, this thing looks amazing. All the dents and little bits of rust on the roof, but it's nice and shiny at least. So you can't have dirty garbage, so it looks good. But man, this thing just came out in 24 hours. Not freaking bad, dude.
12 hours on the brakes.
Yeah, they work now though, right?
Yeah.
They don't know.
Yes.
Hasn't driven it yet.
Yeah.
Hasn't driven it yet.
Test drive still has to happen. 12 hours on the brakes. We found a lot of rust.
Yeah.
There's a lot of rust here, and we'll see how.
Those hands tell me you did a good job.
Yeah.
Those are clean.
These are. Well, I just cleaned them.
Yeah, I was gonna say those are clean. You just cleaned them.
tired.
Brake fluid sucks, but
think
the
I'm
water
talking to the same
dilutes.
person.
Water neutralizes it.
Yeah, that's true. Dude, this thing looks so amazing. I can't get over it. Man, so yeah, long story short, I did end up selling this truck pretty much immediately. So I got it, and then these guys got it, so that's their new project.
Hell yeah.
I am gonna rob the bed off of them, but that's a future day. You guys will see that. I'm gonna steal
That
your bed.
wasn't part of the. No.
Yeah, but yeah, it's a 1 year only bed. And look at how straight this thing is. I was noticing on the other side. I know I've pointed it out a bunch. You guys are probably getting tired of it, but so I noticed from the front side of this thing, when I was sitting in this chair up here, I was looking down this truck and I was like, oh my gosh, look at how straight this thing is. I have never in my life seen gaps line up like that from the factory that have no dents in it.
When I was putting the brakes in and the tires on,
Yeah.
and I was just sitting here, and I kind of looked on my left here, and I was like, I had the same thought.
Yeah.
I'm like, holy crap.
This is
There's
not
honestly
a dent in this thing.
The straightest truck. My brother and I, we have a truck of ourselves, and it was never this nice.
Yeah.
And this one's older.
Yeah, it is, yeah. I mean, for being a 67, I mean, look at the bed on this thing. That is literally wild. Yeah, it came out absolutely fantastic. So I need to touch up a couple spots on the bumper real quick. But other than that, I think this thing is pretty much done, wrapped up, looks amazing. And you guys see how easy it is. Went ahead and swapped the wheels out for a little bit better set. These are, I think, actual 16s, right? Yeah, actual 16s and then the correct caps. And this thing just looks phenomenal.
The original ones we pulled off had super wides, and they were 16.5s.
Yep.
So good luck finding tires on that.
Yeah, very old school, but not quite what we want. But either way, badass patina truck, original paint. Well, original respray that's probably 30 years old, but that comes out pretty good. You can see the one spot on the bumper I still got to do. So I did half of it. I got to clean up the other half still, but overall, I think we're really happy with this. And I think this truck will see another day. This truck sat for probably 20 years and it's getting a new life, which I'm stoked about.
Oh yeah, this is going to get a lot of love, a lot of extra little pieces that we can add onto it.
Yeah.
Original part.
Yep.
We know a lot of people that have a lot of original parts, and we also have a collection of ourselves. So putting them onto this truck, perfect opportunity.
Yeah, that's rad. And this thing runs like a top too. So with that being said, I hope you guys went on to enjoy today's video. I hope you learned a lot, and I hope you actually go out to try this on your own truck. And I want you guys to send it to me. You can follow me on Instagram at @thecraig909, or let me know down in the comments of this video if you've done it on your truck or if you plan to. I'd love to hear you guys' stories and see that stuff. But with that being said, I hope you guys did go on to enjoy today's video. Like I said, grab your t-shirts. These guys are wearing them. I really appreciate that. I'm actually not wearing mine. I'm wearing Ben's stuff today. Got the 4-speed stuff on. But yeah, massive shout out to Franklin and all these other guys that have been staying late. Megan, Christian, Franklin, Marcelo, all the guys that have helped me with that little guy over there, because it has been a non-stop thrash on that bug. So I appreciate all the amazing people that have helped me with that car. It means a lot to me. We'll see you guys at KOH up here pretty soon. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. Later, guys.
Should I be 4x4 with flathead?
No.
The reverse lights work.
Wow, that's actually surprising for a 4-speed truck.
Yeah, I've never seen one of these trucks in this condition with the reverse lights working.
Damn.
Ever.
It is wild. Holy yeah. Brakes! Test the brakes, you idiot! Yeah, let's test them going into the street. Amazing idea.